weapon was the shooter with the goatee. My God, no. Vicki rolled over in a last effort to save herself. "Don't do it, Jay! She's a cop!" the teenager screamed. Suddenly they were scrambling to pick things up off the floor. Whatever they'd stolen must have fallen. "Leave it go, Teague! We gotta go!" The shooter was already sprinting away, his hands full. The teenager bolted after him, jumping over Morty and out the front door, leaving the row house suddenly quiet. Morty. Vicki rolled back over and struggled to her feet, stumbling across the living room to him. He was lying on his back, his arms still flung wide, his blue eyes fluttering. "Morty, can you hear me? Morty!" He didn't answer, his gaze barely focused. His neat features had gone slack, and a sheen of perspiration coated his forehead and wet his sandy hair. Fresh blood gurgled from his chest and drenched his jacket, soaking its bright blue to slick black, spattering its exposed white stuffing with red flecks. "No, please, God!" Vicki choked back tears. She covered the wound with her palm to stanch the flow and reached into her raincoat pocket, grabbed her cell phone, flipped it open, and pressed speed dial for 911. When the dispatcher picked up, she said, "I'm at 483 Marin Street, off of Roosevelt Boulevard. I have an officer down. Officer shot." "Excuse me?" the dispatcher answered. "Miss, what did you say your name was?" "Allegretti. Hurry, I have an ATF agent shot. Send an ambulance, now." Vicki tucked the slippery cell phone under an ear and pressed against Morty's wound with all her might. "What do I do? He's shot in the chest. I'm trying to stop the blood." "Keep it up and don't move him," the dispatcher answered. "Stay calm and I'll get you an ambulance." "Thank you. Hurry." Vicki pressed harder on the wound. Blood pulsed hot and wet between her fingers. Morty's lips were parting. He was trying to say something. "Vic," Morty's forehead creased. "That you?" "Yes, I'm here. It's me." Vicki felt her heart lift. She kept her palm over the horrific wound. If anybody could survive this, Morty could. He was a fit 45-year-old. He worked out religiously, and he'd even run a marathon. "What the hell happened?" A watery red-pink bubble formed in the corner of Morty's mouth, and Vicki fought to maintain emotional control. "Two kids were here when I came in. It was a burglary. The door was open, and I thought I heard somebody say, 'Come in.'" "How's the CI?" "I don't know. She may not be home." "You're okay, right?" "I'm fine. You're going to be fine, too." If only she'd grabbed the gun sooner. The shooter hadn't killed her because he thought she was a cop, but Morty was the cop. On the cell phone, the emergency dispatcher was saying that an ambulance was 10 minutes from the house. Vicki said, "The ambulance is on the way. Just hang in. Please, hang in." "Funny. You always said cigarettes will kill me." Morty managed an agonized smile. "You're going to be fine, Morty. You'll see. You'll be fine. You have to be fine." "You're bossy for a midget," Morty whispered. Then his smile suddenly relaxed. And he stopped breathing. Vicki heard herself scream his name, then dropped the cell phone and tried to resuscitate him until police showed up at the door. And things got even worse. By midnight, the small row house was crammed to bursting with uniformed cops and homicide detectives from the Philadelphia Police Department, crime scene technicians from the city's mobile crime unit, Vicki's chief, Howard Bale, from the U.S. Attorney's Office, and bosses from the FBI and alcohol, tobacco, firearms, and explosives. The only person missing was Morty, whose body had been photographed, placed inside a black nylon bag, and taken away, officially pronounced dead. It left Vicki feeling more alone than was reasonable in such a crowd, as she sat on a patterned couch across from a homicide detective. "Okay, that's it for now," the detective said, flipping his notebook closed and rising from the ottoman. "Good." Vicki stayed put on the couch, emotionally numb. She had washed her hands but hadn't taken off her trench coat. Dried blood stained its lapels, which she realized only when the detective started looking at her funny. "I forget. Did I give you my business card?" "Yes, you did. Thanks." "Sure." Vicki would have used his name, but she had forgotten that, too. Her body ached and her heart had gone hollow. She'd given a long statement to ATF, FBI, and finally the homicide detectives, with every detail poured out like murder scene stream of consciousness. All the time she was thinking of Morty and the CI, who lay upstairs shot to death. Vicki hadn't seen the body yet because the cops had wanted her statement first, in order to get the flash on the radio. She made her way to the stairs, past the numbered yellow cards, used to mark where shells had fallen. Her thoughts circled in confusion. This was only a routine straw purchase case. The indictment charged that a woman had bought 2 Colt .45s at a local gun shop and illegally resold them to someone else, the violent equivalent to buying scotch for a minor. The CI had called to inform on the defendant before Vicki had joined the office, and she had inherited the case because straw cases were dumped on newbies to cut their teeth. One of the most dedicated agents from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives had been assigned to partner with her. "Morty, please forgive me." Something brushed Vicki's shoulder, and she jumped. Her boss, Howard Bale, was standing there, all 5'9" of his African-American, pinstriped, well-tailored, tassel-loafered self. "Oh, Chief." Bale's eyes, the rich hue of espresso, were tilted down with strain, and his lips, buried under a mustache that hid an overbite, curved into a fatigued but sympathetic smile. "You all right?" "Fine." Vicki held onto the banister as a crime scene tech wedged by, a quilted vest worn under his navy jumpsuit. "You drink that water I got you?" "I forgot." "I'm the chief, kid. You're not allowed to forget." "Sorry." Vicki faked a smile. When Bale first arrived at the scene, he had given her a big hug and a cup of water. The gesture wasn't lost on anybody. He was saying, "I don't blame the kid, so don't you." Nor did he yell about what a screw-up this must have been, though she guessed that would come. Not that it mattered any longer. Vicki had wanted to be a federal prosecutor since law school, and now she didn't care if she got fired. "Where you going?" Bale asked. "To see my CI." "Wait, got something I want to show you." Bale gentled her from the stairs by her elbow and guided her back through the living room. Uniforms and detectives actually parted for him. Bale, as section chief of major crimes, was next in line for U.S. attorney. He led her near the front door of the row house, and Vicki stiffened as she got close to the spot where Morty had been killed. "It's all right," Bale said softly, but Vicki shook her head. "No, it isn't." "Look down. Here." Bale pointed and Vicki looked. A ring of cops who had been kneeling around something on the rug rose and edged away. On the rug lay a white object the size of a brick, covered several times in clear saran wrap and closed with duct tape. A kilogram of cocaine. "How'd I miss that?" Vicki asked, surprised. She'd practically had to trip over it, but she'd been focused on Morty. "You said they dropped something." Bale had listened to her statement. "It must have been upstairs, from what you described, with them running down." "Yes." Vicki had assumed the teenagers had stolen normal things like jewelry or cash. "Cocaine? A kilogram?" "That's weight," Bale said significantly, and Vicki understood. A kilogram of coke was supplier-level weight. It would have a street value of $30,000, called weight money as opposed to headache money, the money that street dealers made. Bale leaned close. "Obviously, we won't be releasing this detail to the press. You'll keep this to yourself." "Got it." Focusing on the cocaine was clearing Vicki's head. "So my CI was a coke dealer? Why would a dealer volunteer to talk to us?" "After you look around, tell me what you think. I have a theory and everybody agrees. That tells me I'm in trouble." Vicki couldn't manage a smile because she kept looking at the brick. Morty died for coke. "No, he didn't," Bale said sharply. Vicki looked up, surprised she had said anything aloud. "Morty died for his job, and that's the way he would have wanted it." "Maybe," Vicki said, though she didn't know if he was right. She couldn't wrap her mind around it just now. "Notice anything special about this cocaine, little girl?" "No. Do I flunk?" "Look again, in the light." Bale snagged a Mac light from a uniformed cop, eased onto his haunches, and turned on the flashlight. He aimed it at the cocaine, and Vicki, crouching beside him, saw what he meant. There was a telltale shimmer to the cocaine, like a deadly rainbow. "Fish-scale cocaine?" Vicki asked, surprised. She thought it was urban drug myth, yet here it was. A rainbow shine that looked like fish scales, if only in the vernacular of people who didn't fish. "Right. It's so pure it increases in volume when they cook it." Vicki had learned this somewhere along the line, too. Most cocaine decreased when it was cooked, by mixing it with water, baking soda, and a cutting agent like mannitol, and stirring until oil formed on the water's surface. The oil would be cooled on ice, so it crystallized to form rocks. The crackling sound the mixture made when it was boiled gave the drug its name, crack. "This is quality coke. It's worth 40 grand, maybe more," Bale added. "Really?" Vicki couldn't help but feel a little wide-eyed. It was the reason she had wanted this job after 2 years at the DA's office.